Cyber Thriller, Part 1. New York never slept. Even in the dead of night, its streets glowed with millions of screens, neon signs, and advertising holograms. To the average passerby, the city seemed like an endless stream of light and noise. But for those who knew how to look deeper, it had another face, a hidden, dark, digital one. Alex Hunter saw that face every day. He sat in his small apartment on the 14th floor of a skyscraper in Brooklyn. The windows overlooked Manhattan, where lights sparkled like scattered stars. In his hands, he held a cup of cold coffee, and in front of him flickered 3 monitors connected into a single system. His fingers glided over the keyboard faster than most people could blink. Alex was a hacker. Not one of those romanticized figures portrayed in movies, but a real one. Silent, focused, obsessed with code. He was known as GhostLine in the dark corners of the darknet. To the world, he was just an ordinary 30-year-old freelance IT specialist writing code for small companies. Tonight, he wasn't breaking into bank accounts or corporate security systems. He was searching for answers. A few weeks earlier, Alex had received a strange message in an encrypted chat. You're looking in the right direction, but if you go further, they will find you. Code NEX47. Who sent it and what it meant? He didn't know. But ever since, a sense of unease had gripped him. Someone was watching him. Someone wanted him to find something. NEX47, he whispered, typing the code into a search script he had created himself. Dozens of results flickered on the screen, most fake, bot-generated, but one line immediately stood out. NEXUS initiative. Classified. Access restricted. Alex leaned back in his chair. The word classified always meant one thing: government. He pressed enter. The system responded with denial. A direct hack would be suicide. The government servers had cyber defenses that detected even attempts. But Alex knew how to work differently. He knew how to wait. At that moment, his phone lit up. A message from an unknown number. You should stop. This is not your game. Alex felt a chill run across his skin. This was no longer mere curiosity. Someone was watching his actions in real time. He turned off the monitors, grabbed his jacket, and went up to the roof of the building. The New York night wind hit his face, but he barely felt the cold. His mind was working at full speed. Who were these people? What was the NEXUS initiative? And why did the warnings feel more like a challenge? Below, taxis raced along the streets. Somewhere in the distance, a siren wailed. The city went on with its life, completely unaware that a conspiracy hid beneath its surface. Alex lit a cigarette and stared at the horizon. He knew one thing. If someone was trying so desperately to stop him from investigating, it meant it was worth pursuing. He returned to the apartment, opened a new encrypted channel, and sent a short message to an old acquaintance, a former NSA employee who had once saved his skin. Have you heard anything about the NEXUS initiative? The reply came almost immediately. Erase that question. Forget it. If they notice you, you're done. Alex smiled bitterly. Classic reaction. But the more he was told to forget it, the stronger his desire to uncover the truth became. He didn't have any concrete evidence yet, only fragments, but his intuition told him this was something big, something that could change the country. That night, he didn't sleep. For the first time in many years, he felt true fear.
Part 2. The hunt begins. The next morning, New York looked different. The sun pierced through the cloudy sky, reflecting off the glass of skyscrapers. But to Alex, the city remained grim. Every car sound, every step on the sidewalk felt suspicious. He could no longer see everything through the usual programmer's lens. Now every detail could become evidence that he was being watched. Alex returned home after his morning run and turned on his computers. The feeling of unease didn't leave him. He knew the first step had been taken. Now he had to act carefully. He began tracking IP addresses that had responded to his attempts to access systems the previous day. There were several intrusion attempts, but they didn't look like automated attacks. They seemed specifically targeted at him. The system he had built for himself highlighted one anomalous signal, a server in downtown Manhattan. "This is too close," Alex whispered. He realized he needed help. His old NSA acquaintance Jason could provide guidance, but previous correspondence had shown that even Jason couldn't be fully trusted. He decided to take another path. He dialed his hacker friend, Nick. Nick lived in Brooklyn, among old warehouses and dark alleyways, and had a reputation for being able to extract information from anywhere. "Nick, I need your help," Alex began, trying to keep the worry out of his voice. "What's this about?" Nick asked, but his tone was cautious. "It's hard to explain. I found something massive. They call it the NEXUS initiative." There was a tense pause on the other end. "Listen, if this is what I think it is, you're already in danger. Meet me at the old warehouse on 5th Avenue, alone. No cameras, no phones." Alex closed his laptop. The apartment suddenly felt colder. He didn't know exactly who was watching, but his intuition told him this was an organization that left no traces and could destroy anyone who crossed its path. Evening fell quickly. Alex put on his jacket, grabbed a backpack with his laptop and several flash drives. Every step toward the subway felt tracked. He paused near a newsstand. The sign flickered like something out of a cyberpunk film. Red light interrupted by dark pauses. Alex lifted his eyes. A passerby across the street was staring at him a little too long. "It's just paranoia," he whispered to himself, trying not to consider the possibility that he had already been noticed. The subway wailed. Doors opened. Alex stepped inside and looked around. People, talking, smartphones, headphones, but he noticed the little details that could give away an agent. An unnatural posture, eyes that followed, a slight change in route when he approached. He arrived at the old warehouse as agreed and entered through the side door. Inside, darkness, the smell of old dust and oil, a few old monitors glowing with a faint blue light. "Alex, it's not safe here," Nick began, as Alex approached. "What you found is bigger than you can imagine. NEXUS controls everything. Banks, politics, elections. They see every move you make." Alex sat at one of the monitors and opened the files he had found. The data was encrypted, but enough to understand the scale of the conspiracy. Theft of personal data, manipulation of social media, control over news streams. "This is limitless," Alex whispered. Nick nodded. "And they already know you found out about them, so be careful. Every move you make could be tracked." Suddenly, the sound of the computer made them flinch. A message appeared on the screen. "Hello, Alex. We've been expecting you." "They're here," Alex whispered, his heart racing faster. Nick quickly disconnected the network and shut down the monitor. "We need to get out. They won't leave a chance if you stay here too long." Alex nodded. Together, they ran from the warehouse into a dark alley where only the faint light of a street lamp cast long shadows. Cars rumbled in the distance, but Alex knew it was only a facade. The danger was near, but invisible. That night, Alex experienced a true race against time for the first time. His discovery had changed everything. From now on, he couldn't return to an ordinary life. Every step, every glance, every meeting could cost him his freedom or his life. But Alex knew one thing: he would not back down.
Part 3. Friends or Foes. After that night, Alex realized that being alone meant being vulnerable. He returned to his temporary hideout in a remote area of Queens, where old warehouses had been converted into shelters for those who wanted to remain unnoticed. Here, he could work without prying eyes, analyze data, and plan his next move. The feeling of danger didn't leave him. Every sound in the building seemed like an alarm signal. Alex knew that even the sound of his keystrokes could be tracked if someone had placed spy equipment close enough. He turned off all devices, leaving only his laptop connected through a secure network, and began checking the NEXUS initiative files once again. They contained countless emails, financial transactions, and archives marked in ways that hinted the organization was deeply embedded in the political and financial system of the United States. This wasn't just a company. It was a web encompassing everything from major banks to government institutions. But Alex understood that he couldn't handle it alone. He needed an ally, someone who could decrypt the code and uncover the logic behind NEXUS. And then he remembered Nick. The next morning, Alex called him using a special encrypted channel. Nick responded almost immediately, but the tone in his voice was cautious. "I heard you started digging," Nick began. "You know this isn't a game. They're watching everything, and if you're not careful, they'll eat you alive." Alex nodded in response, though Nick couldn't see him. "I know, but I need your help. I can't decrypt this alone." "All right, we'll meet in the evening at that warehouse on 7th Avenue. Like last time, no cameras, no phones, no traces." Evening came quickly. Alex put on a dark jacket, grabbed his laptop and flash drives with important data. Every step was cautious. He almost ran while crossing streets, glancing for any suspicious movement. The warehouse was familiar. Darkness, the smell of old dust, the faint light from Nick's monitors. Alex felt the tension rising in the air. "Show me what you found," Nick said, leaning over the screen. Alex plugged in the flash drive and opened the files. Nick hummed as he scrolled through emails and archives. "This is truly massive. If all this is true, this isn't just a conspiracy. It's complete state manipulation." "I knew it, but we can't just leave it like this." Nick nodded, but a worried gleam appeared in his eyes. "There's one problem. I've heard about these files before, and some of my contacts said to avoid them. Alex, you realize this could cost both of us our lives." Alex looked him in the eyes. He saw their past friendship, but now trust was a sharp issue. "I'm ready to take the risk. Are you?" Nick didn't respond immediately. He looked at the screen, then pushed the monitor aside. "We need a plan. We can't just release this data. Their system is too strong." A shiver ran down Alex's spine. Nick's words didn't sound like a warning. They hinted at something more. Perhaps Nick already had his own motives. Perhaps he knew more than he was saying. They worked for several hours decrypting the first layers of the code. Alex noticed unusual activity. Someone had accessed their network, but didn't break in, just observing. "They're here," Alex whispered. "Someone is watching us." Nick walked to the window and looked outside. "Maybe it's just paranoia, but it's better to be safe. We don't have much time." Suddenly, the sound of Nick's phone broke the silence. He leaned toward the screen and went pale. "It's a message from one of my contacts in NEXUS. They know we are working together." Alex felt his heart race. Now there was no doubt. They were already in the game from which there was no exit. Nick quickly disconnected all devices and locked the warehouse door. "We have to move." If they find us here, nothing will save us. They decided to split up. Alex would take part of the data and go to a safe place, while Nick stayed behind to track any pursuers. Alex moved through dark streets, listening to every sound. Cars rumbled behind him, but he couldn't tell if they were pursuers or just the city. About an hour later, he arrived at a remote subway station. He sat in one of the empty cars and activated a secure channel. A message appeared. "We know where you are. Don't try to run." Alex understood the situation was critical. Betrayal could come not only from friends, anyone around him could be an agent of the system. He could trust only himself and his skills. He gritted his teeth and decided that he would not stop. The NEXUS initiative was too big to leave unpunished. And though danger loomed over him, Alex knew one thing: the truth was worth the risk. That evening, he was alone again, but not just as a hacker. He had become a target. And now, whether he could unravel the conspiracy would determine his life and possibly the fate of millions.
Part 4. Threat in Reality. New York in the evening twilights looked quiet, almost idyllic, but Alex knew that was just an appearance. Beneath the surface, surveillance, agents, algorithms tracking his every move. His apartment in Queens was no longer safe. Alex gathered everything he could take: his laptop with encrypted files, several flash drives, and a small stash of cash. He left the building through a service exit to avoid cameras on the street. Every step felt like part of a game where the stakes were life itself. The streets were almost empty, but Alex knew that any passerby could be a NEXUS agent. He tried to follow a normal route, but only one thought was spinning in his mind: find someone who could help. His target: investigative journalists known for their tenacity and independence. Among them was Sarah Kane, a reporter for a major media company who had previously published articles on cybersecurity and government surveillance programs. Alex decided that she was the one he could trust. He dialed Sarah's encrypted number, using a channel he had created for critical contacts. "We know who you are, and if you come, bring proof." She didn't give her name, just confirmed her readiness to meet. Alex headed to a pre-arranged meeting place, a long-standing bookstore in Lower Manhattan that had served as a hidden hub for journalists. Inside, the smell of old pages and dust mixed with tension. Sarah was already waiting. She was slim, with a sharp gaze, dressed in a dark coat. "Are you Alex?" she asked, without lifting her eyes from a tablet. "Yes," I replied, feeling my heart race. "I have data on the NEXUS initiative. This is a serious conspiracy involving banks, politics, elections." Sarah nodded and closed her tablet. "I know, but you must understand, they know you're here and they will pursue you physically and in cyberspace simultaneously." He felt a chill. Sarah spoke seriously. "I'm ready. We just need to act fast." Their plan was simple, yet risky. Alex would transfer part of the data through a secure channel so that journalists could verify it and prepare a publication, while he moved to another location to avoid pursuit. They began preparations. Alex connected a secure channel and encrypted the files, while Sarah monitored the network and checked for any traces of intrusion. Every minute felt like an eternity. Suddenly, the laptop screen flickered. A message appeared. "You cannot escape. We see everything." "They're here," Alex whispered, his heart pounding. Sarah didn't panic. She quickly connected a temporary VPN and helped him alter his digital trail. "We need to move," she said. "I know a route without cameras and patrols." Alex and Sarah left the store through an underground passage. On the surface, the city was almost empty, but Alex noticed black cars moving through the streets as if searching specifically for him. They reached the safe house in an old neighborhood where journalists occasionally hid. Here they could verify the data and confirm its authenticity. Alex saw the scale of the conspiracy with his own eyes: millions of user accounts,
control over elections, media manipulation. "This is incredible," he whispered. "They really control everything." "And they know you're here," Sarah repeated. "We must keep moving. If they find these files, they could destroy both of us." Alex felt the pressure of time. He understood that from now on, his life was a constant race. Every step was a risk. But he knew one thing: this truth must be revealed. They worked through the night, sending part of the data through a secure channel for verification by journalists. Alex felt the weight of responsibility pressing on his shoulders. Ahead was the final step: to expose the conspiracy to the public. Dawn broke through the clouds as Alex and Sarah completed their work. The city was awakening, but for them, it was time to act. They had to choose between their own safety and the truth that could change the fate of the country. And as they stood by the exit of the building, Alex sensed the danger was already here. Someone was watching nearby. Every step, every breath, now a matter of life and death. He raised his hand to the keyboard and thought, now or never. The truth must come out.
Part 5. The Choice and Finale. Dawn in New York spread soft light across the glass facades of skyscrapers, but Alex Hunter barely noticed. His heart was pounding like crazy. Only the final step remained. All the previous nights, hours of observation, the risk of infiltrating the NEXUS initiative, everything had led him here. Sarah Kane sat beside him, tracking digital traces and messages. They had already verified the data, and now it all came down to the most important part: making it available to the public without falling victim to the system. "Are you ready?" she asked, not looking away from her tablet. Alex nodded. "Ready. This is our chance, and more depends on it than we realize." They headed to the hideout Alex had prepared during the night. It was an old electrical substation on the outskirts of the city, converted into a technical hub with its own generator and autonomous internet connection. There were no cameras, sensors, or anything that could track their location. Alex connected his laptop to the secure network prepared for mass file upload to the outside world. He saw the full scope of the NEXUS initiative: control over elections, banks, social networks, media, all intertwined like a massive web. "We can't delay any longer," he whispered. "If we don't hit enter now, everything is lost." Sarah nodded and kept watch at the entrance, ready to intervene if anyone appeared. Alex took a deep breath and pressed the key. The system responded instantly. The files began transferring through secure channels accessible only to verified journalists and independent organizations. Alex felt a surge of fear and relief simultaneously. But at the same moment, a sinister feeling warned him. The NEXUS network had detected an anomaly. Messages appeared on the screen. "Stop, now, or else." "They're here," Alex whispered, as the metallic rumble outside reached their ears. Black cars were stationed outside the substation. There were several agents, but Alex and Sarah knew time was running out. "Go!" Sarah shouted. They ran through the side exit carrying the laptop with the data. Alex felt his heart leap from his chest. The streets were empty, but he could see shadows pursuing them from the darkness. The chase was frantic. Alex navigated through alleys, using his knowledge of the city and previously chosen routes. Every step carried the risk of being caught, yet at the same time, he felt that the truth was on his side. They reached another hub, a place where journalists would complete the publication process. Alex connected the laptop to an external channel. The countdown began, minutes and seconds during which the file transfer could be disrupted. "We're almost there," he muttered as his fingers glided over the keys. Suddenly, the sound of metal and shouts from outside signaled that the NEXUS agents had already found them. Sarah screamed, "Alex, they're inside!" He didn't look back. His hands worked as if in a trance.
The files were nearly uploaded, only a few seconds remaining. Enter. The transfer completed. The Nexus Initiative data was now publicly accessible to independent journalists. The truth could no longer be hidden. Alex felt a sharp sense of relief, but also danger. He turned and saw the dark silhouettes of agents approaching. The substation windows exploded with the light of outside spotlights. Sarah shoved him toward the exit. "Run!" They split in different directions. Alex felt the pursuit closing in, breaths and footsteps growing nearer. He knew life after this night would never be the same. As he disappeared into the darkness of the city tunnels, Alex felt that a crucial mission had been accomplished. The truth was out, but the cost of revealing it remained unknown. The city seemed quiet, yet it would never be the same. The Nexus Initiative had lost control of the information, but Alex and Sarah knew their pursuers had not vanished. Sometimes victory costs more than one can imagine. Alex stopped, inhaled the cold tunnel air. He felt his body exhausted, but his mind clear. All he had left were the laptop and flash drives, but his consciousness was filled with understanding. The truth was stronger than fear. And although his life was in danger, Alex realized one thing. He had changed the course of events. Now independent journalists and the public had the chance to know the truth. The open ending left the question, would society use this information wisely, or would it be lost in the news cycle? But for Alex, it no longer mattered. He had made a choice, and that choice could no longer be undone.